Welcome back, folks, to some second channel action. This morning's been a doozy of technical difficulties. Got my main channel video finally uploading. It's like 10:30. I've been having to fix a lot of crap on that, but I think we're gonna be golden as long as that upload goes good, which it usually does now. Uploads have got a lot better. Anyhow, welcome back. I've got a main goal today, which is to get, I think we're gonna look at, we need to run to town, see if we can get some exhaust parts and put something quieter on our old Stout here. Last couple of weeks, I've been driving her around as our new little daily, doing most of my driving in it. Hot Rod likes that truck a lot, guys. That's my favorite part about it. As you seen last week, I told you we were gonna get the seat belts in there. Well, a day or two after that, I was actually able to take her to school in it. And I was like, man, y'all know how kids are nowadays. I was like, if someone makes fun of that truck, like she'll never want to ride in it again, you know, be like, oh, you got an old crappy truck. And for now it's the opposite, because some girls a couple grades below her, third graders or something, had told her how cool they thought her truck was. So now she's really down to ride in it, which is even better. The worst part of riding in that truck right now is the droney exhaust in the cab. Now the exhaust that's on it, as y'all see, when we get her in here and on the lift, well, it was just a temporary something to be on there because it didn't really have exhaust before. So we'll probably keep the muffler on there. We'll look at routing, so just trying to route it out towards the back where it ain't just dumped underneath the cab. I think that'll fix a lot of it. Also, in the last video or the one before, the old club car had messed up on us. I don't know if y'all remember that. And I knew this was a fuel pump. I never called it a fuel pump, but people assumed I didn't know it was a fuel pump, and I understand that. And anyhow, if we really choked it to almost have it nowhere, we could almost keep it running. We knew it had spark. That's a good way of letting you know that you're not getting fuel. So I never came out here and tested the fuel pump. I just looked on Amazon, and a new setup was like $11. So I just bought one, and I got out here yesterday and I put it on there, and still no go. So Hot Rod's out here, and she's like, Dad, maybe it's the battery. I'm like, no, baby, it's spinning. Battery's good. Go ahead and check spark again. Still sparking. That fuel pump come as a tune-up kit, I guess, because it come with spark plug too. So I popped it down in there. I'm like, we're still not getting fuel. So I popped it off at the fuel filter. The old fuel filter was on backwards. I don't think anyone caught that. I didn't catch that. Anyhow, I popped it off. Crank. The fuel pump is pumping fuel, so I'm like, well, I know we're getting up to there. So I pulled the carburetor off, pulled the bowl off the carburetor, and here's what I found. Yeah, how's that for some good old ethanol gummy junked up goodness? Nothing was clogged. What was going on, that stuff was so thick that it was holding the float up, and the float was not allowing fuel in. So clean that out, slap everything back together. We now have an operational golf cart again. I may end up having to get back in there at some point though, because we hit a couple bumps and it quit running, and all I did was tap on the bowl and it started working again. So now I know that float's in there getting stuck easy, probably easier than what it should be. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got to get back into her, but we're not going to worry about it too much right now. We were able to get our chores done using this thing yesterday, so that was super handy. On the main channel video, y'all see me do the little rescue and makeover of the 59 that if it hits the 500,000 views, we're going to do a build and giveaway on at some point this year. So that's still in the way. We'll get it up out of the way, get the Toyota into play. But let's get this out the way. Then we'll actually have to go to town to see if we can get parts. Or actually, I don't want to, but I got 2.5. I was hoping for something smaller. I don't think we need 2.5 on the old Stout. I think 2.25 would be just fine. We'll see. Main reason I kept this in here is because I know y'all want to see the airbags work on this thing again. If it wasn't for that, I would have already had it out of here. How about a couple up and downs, huh? One more. So if you want to know how wide height would be, I guess I didn't really cover that. But see how that right there would ride good? Oh, especially some shocks on it to dampen that. You can lift that thing super duper high, but it's gonna ride hard as rock. And you don't want it to ride like no rock. Should probably ride real good right there. Then the back you need even less because you ain't got as much weight back here. And we got a bigger airbag. That'd be more than enough. Put that booty down and take her for a cruising. Can I tell y'all what I'm hoping secretly happens? I hope that video never hits 500,000. We don't have it a high priority for me to build this right now, or I don't have it for myself. Instead, we'll see how the content does. I hope it don't hit it. All we're really planning on doing with this thing is we're gonna park it out next to the Mud-Sadies, where we got one mocked up super high. We've got one mocked up super low, and it's just gonna be my shop approach ornaments. Just something beautiful to look at as we come pulling up. Every time me and Slick come pulling up here, like we see the Mud-Sadies, we just look at each other and giggle, okay? Now you give me this and that to giggle at, I'll be a happy man. But last week on the main channel, I think y'all probably could have heard some of the work on this going on in the background. And thank goodness, I think our muddy mess is finally gonna be fixed here. I had a lot of folks asking why I don't just spread a load of gravel or two. Guys, that would be a band-aid on like a gash, a big gash that's just overflowing, so to speak. You can tell I know a lot about medical because I could not put that metaphor or simile together, could I? You can also tell I don't know a lot about English because I didn't know if that was a metaphor or simile. Come around here, y'all can see this is all graveled now. That is Nate Dogg's temporary ride. He took his Subaru to get it serviced under warranty or whatever, and he asked them not to clean it, and they decided to clean it, and they swirled his paint real bad. So now he's having that corrected, and they have him a temporary rig. So I know some of y'all thought I just need to put some gravel down. The problem was, like where Nathan's parked right now, that was about 10 inches taller than that before. And that 10 inches carried all the way down almost towards that away. And what it was is stuff was not properly sloped or done in a way for water to really flow and drain. And we're at the bottom of a hill, guys, so we're catching all the water from uphill. It comes towards us. Now my dirt work guy, he's been here from the beginning, and now he's still here at the end. I've not been impressed with a lot of the contractors we've had, but he's one who really knows his stuff. If I would have listened to the two other dirt work guys who come and gave me a quote for a pad for my house, we would have had a flooded house by now, I guarantee you. The amount of water that comes down this hill from up there down to this way is insane. So anyways, this needed cut down where water has fall, where it can actually go where it needs to go. A lot of that needs sloped and corrected. Our water line here had time to settle, and instead of fixing it temporary, which is what it would have been if I'd got a bunch of gravel. Here's the thing, if you don't have it where it flows good, water will move rock, guys. You will wash stuff out. And anyways, I had a vision of all of this being fixed at once, not just trying to temporary it together and waste money, basically, because all the stuff I would have put here, it would have just mixed itself in mud. Anyways, CL knows what he's doing. He come over, like 2 more loads of gravel is what it cost me, basically, and 3 or 4 more hours of his time for him to cut this stuff out and go ahead and put fresh gravel in here as well. And honestly, that's my favorite part out of this whole deal. It's probably the less needed, but as far as for me, it's the area I spend the most time on. So this being clean slate, it was always a mess during the summer because it grew up a bunch of weeds, and of course you don't want to mow that since it's half gravel. You'll just be eating up blades. So it stays, then you got to spray it, and you're trying to weed eat it and whatever. Now if we maintain this with killing weeds, we've just got everything fixed. The 3/4 inch rock is a lot smaller, but it should pack a lot nicer and should be, I think I'm gonna be super happy with it. And it was only like, they said like 20 or 30 bucks a load more versus like 1.5 inches, which would have been a lot bigger. So we'll see how she does. It definitely looks 1,000 times better. 1,000 times better. You know me, around here we got our priorities straight, because we graveled this junkyard years ago to make sure we had a place to set junk. But you know, we'll take our time and drive through mud for 1.5 years before we, you know, worry about a driveway. You gotta have your priorities straight, guys. This was a big drop off, because when we had to do the retaining wall, we had to shovel out a bunch of dirt to get down below the shop. The elevation of the shop defines how low your retaining wall's got to be. Then it kind of, you know, defines how low the driveway's got to be. So that was at a low point. Everything else was at a high point. So that's why this is a lot more complicated than what it looks like, probably just in a quick glance at a video. But all that dirt, the concrete guy had moved over here to do what he had to do. Then CL cut out a lot of that dirt he had to out here. Now it's all sloped and fixed. He did a wonderful job. It looks 100 times better, and it should also perform 100 times better. So I just wanted to kind of let you know what's going on there, because I know people's going to notice it in the background. Behind me where the lateral lines were, that stuff had settled, so he had put some dirt over that and smoothed it up. Out here we had a big old pile of dirt, and he took it and actually filled in some of the lateral lines where they had sunk from the house build that had settled. And then out there, he'd cleaned up some brush and stuff we had. So now all this is looking a lot better too. Shoo! And that wind's blowing, probably butchering our audio. And all that stuff out there is free of charge, because he cuts hay on this place. And I let him do. Hey, there's Theodore. I don't know where he's been. He's been hiding from me. Where you been hiding? You had a ghillie suit on out in the field, didn't you? So you take care of people, they take care of you. Scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's how, like me and CL. Anyways, he took good care of me on this deal and got us fixed up great. Let's get this sucker shoved out. Dude, you're just in time to pull on this car with me. Slow it down, old girl. Dang. I parked them both so crooked. Like real crooked, Theo. Why'd you let me do that? Yo! About kicked that our wheel chock out from underneath there and sent her down the hill. Dun 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 dun. Easy does it coming off the hill. Oh, we got her. Let me get her lined up a little better. I don't know how much straighter she is, but she sure looks good out here, don't she? Let's run to town. I'll show you why we're trying to put a better exhaust on this thing. You'll hear it. I am dirtying up our carpet. I grabbed these cheesy gray mats from the parts house. Yeah, they don't look too bad in here. That'll be better than having stained carpet right away. Let's see how she fit up underneath the pedal. Oh, see, not too bad. Sitting here like this, it's loud, but it don't seem super duper loud. It's more when we get a load on it, like 3rd gear into 4th gear, it gets loud. I know what some of you are thinking, how come Theo's not with you? You put his name underneath the door handle and everything. Well, let me tell you, it's not because I don't want him in here or I'm worried about him tearing up our seat or whatever. I've taken Theo with me twice in this truck, and when I go run my 3 errands or whatever, all 3 places I stopped, the 2 times I took him, he tried to shove his way out of this truck. So usually if we're in like the truck or the van or something taller, he don't even try to get out. He just sits there perfectly content. He pulls security until you get back. In this truck, I've literally had to grab him because he was trying to get out of the truck and run away. And all I can figure is because it's so low, it's easier for him to get out, and he's trying to make a break for it. And I really don't want Theo getting out in the middle of town and taking off running. He's never acted like that besides in this truck, so I don't know what the deal is. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see if maybe we'll give him another shot before too long. Come to town, we gotta pop by here and check on Slick. Ooh, look at the old cut dog wheel. Got the old cutty wheel. Dang, little sneakity peekity. Looks like what we got here? Some 195, 75 14s. Taking a trick out of old PFAB's book, huh? You dirty dog. What? I smelt dime white, so I had to come to town. Oh, did you see him? Now, what I really wanted to stop by here and see is Slick's been working on this 32. And if y'all had ever seen what he started with, the fact this thing has functional doors again is pretty amazing.
Got some more adjusting to do, just a little bit, but we're getting there. A lot of it's just like where it's been slid around and it's hit on stuff, like the lower edge down here kind of sticks up. It's just because people have been carrying it and knocking it on crap, so I'll have to work my way around and get it squared up. Man, I gotta fix this.
I'd run the crap out of it as is. You'd be like, hey, we need to fix it. I'd be like, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna spray some of that burnt brown primer on it and drive it.
I'm taking it off.
If y'all want to see what those white wall tires are for, you ought to check out Slick's channel, the OK Speed and Custom. They did a Will It Drive this last week on the ugliest G body I've ever seen in my life.
It's about to get better though. I'm about to hammer that.
Ugliest G body I've ever seen in my life. A G body and a Pinto had an ugly love child. You don't want to miss it. Let's see if the O'Reilly's has what we need. Probably not 2 1/4. I tell you, to clean those white walls, where did that stuff go? They had a white wall cleaner here. It was the Mr. Cartoon partner. There's that stuff right there. Nope, no it was not. Maybe it was. The Mr. Cartoon tire cleaner worked good for our white walls. Not paid endorsement, just being honest with you. I got a couple other ones that did not even start to touch the stuff.
What do you think on the wheels? We do chrome or silver?
Oh boy. Hit her with the gold dicks.
Gold?
You're in a cutty, dog. Gotta get the gold on her.
Gold on it.
Take the back springs out completely.
I'm gonna come over to your place when you hit it with a torch.
I'm down. I'll see you there. Right, here's what we're after. Oh, there's some 2-inch. 2-inch could, 2 1/4. Perfect. We'll get a couple of these if they've, yeah, the 90 looks too big. I'll get a couple hangers too. This will probably get us fixed up.
Put the old stack on it.
Oh, baby. The old donkey hog. Yeah. Oh, we can black her out to go with the Steelies, buddy, and the window tip. Not the pencil tips.
Yeah, I need them about this long so we can bell fires on the side.
Give her the little brap-a-pa, hit her with the twice pipes. Better not. No. I'm trying to quit. No lid in a 5-speed. What could go wrong? I'm living dangerous. Now, me and Slick had to go grab some taco, boy. He kind of made it to his lunch point. We got to have lunch with an alleged fan. He said he's a fan, but all he had on was Vice Garage merchandise, so who really knows, you know? Just playing. We know JR. He's a good dude. Anyhow, had his little taco boy, hung out with JR, and then back to the shop we go. So we can finally try to quiet this old girl down. Enough of that. They had these little LEDs on closeout sale at the O'Reilly's. I didn't know if maybe we could rig them up on the front of the golf cart. The headlights are not very bright on that thing. Anyhow, we better get to the first task of the day that we started a long time ago. Or we were supposed to start a long time ago. Yes! Yes! I guess I just realized how good this is finally flash rusted over. And again, I know some of y'all hate that bed, but I love, love the way this truck looks. Get a little light up in here. All right, guys, our muffler, like I said, it was all temporary. Now this piece, we may have to undo it right now, but it's pretty well gonna be left alone. I'd already installed our O2. It stopped about right there. As you can see, I just used a little piece, stubbed this up real quick to give us something. I wanted to keep this area clear for when we built the rear suspension. Well, as you can see, rear suspension is built and performing well. That's right, someone did one hell of a job on it. So now that we know that can go up in there, I think we're gonna try to move the muffler up in here. That's what's scraping a lot. As you can tell, I'm surprised we ain't knocked the bottom out of her yet. So I think we'll cut it right here and we'll undo it up there. No, ow, ow, ouch. Oh yeah, this ain't happening. Ain't no way. What the heck, over? The old cheap eBay stainless is just chomping this blade up. Let's keep putting my behind the scenes toots in there, Chris. I know you heard that. You heard nothing, Christopher. Ha-ha! Jeez! Now this is supposed to be the old Quiet Flow SS, and it ain't super quiet. I was hoping we could get it kind of tucked up in there, but that support bar is kind of in the way. It may still fit. Anything up like that would be a lot better than it being down here the way it was. I think we're gonna have to lop that hanger off there. And I may try to bolt one right to there and see if we can get this to it. Whew, that poor thing is cut. Ha-ha! We've got options. Now, earlier I pulled out my box of goodies. I was hoping we had other style exhaust hangers. We can use that if we have to. I like that other one better. And I thought I had some. Got the exhaust flange. It looks like I may be fresh out. Hey, what we got right here? We got another muffler. Oh, I bet this one will be a little quieter. Vroom, vroom. I never did see if there's any room for one back here. Not unless we turn her sideways like that. Hell, don't tempt me. I'm a wild man. Go! Golly. I wish the camera had been set down. I almost saved that thing 4 different times. I cut that at an angle. We're gonna leave this piece on because it's gonna have to angle up where that cross member is. Found one of our other hangers, bolted it up there, and it's gonna have to kind of go like that right there. Kind of run up at an angle, head this way somehow. It may work, it may not. Let's go for 32.5. This is 2 1/4 right here. Yeah. It's not how you cut your exhaust pipe. Hello. We don't have a perfect cut over here, so I'm kind of tuning on this till it matches up a little better. That cut's a little janky, so we got to shave this one to be a little janky. Then they'll match up beautiful, like so. Except we need to hold that about where we need it. And you see over here, still not quite perfect. That gap will weld though. I moved around too much and I broke her pack. And I tacked that, but this is hanging too low. Cut that tack and pick up on this. Guys, I don't know we're gonna end up keeping this muffler. So even if I build us a nicer exhaust, we're gonna do some experimenting before we spend the time to build a nice one. That's a little better. Got us tacked up, got us braced up. Let's see now. Let's see now how this is looking. I mean, that looks all right. There just ain't really a good place to hang it. Not that hanger we put in place, that ain't gonna work. But that itself may work. We just have to figure out a new hanger. I really need an extra set of hands here. I don't like that tack. We're gonna slice it off and try again. All right, it's just metal. Try as many times as you need. A little bit of weld on that to kind of lock it in. A couple more tacks on that up there. She ain't perfect by any means, but as long as we find a place to hang this now, that'll be all right. And I'm almost thinking we may make a tailpipe that bolts on and off with a flange. And since this gets so low, it sits even lower than that normally. If all the weight was actually on the tire, we may just make a removable tailpipe that runs underneath the rear end. Probably a lot easier. We ain't got enough bends to pull it off anyhow if we don't go that route. I don't think. We need a real pipe bender to be able to kick up and over there and then back through here and clearance all that, I think. Let me see if I can't figure out where we can maybe hang this from. Give her a little support. Now, let me say, this is probably a terrible idea, but let me also say, we're gonna do it anyhow. Like I said, we're kind of experimenting to see if we're even gonna like how this is gonna sound. I realize that if I index that and turn it this way, it basically kicks it right over to there. Now, what I don't know is, we be welding to this outside? I feel like that could rip that sheet metal. I feel like going to the pipe's usually your best bet. We could almost bend that and get it to the pipe too. Almost. For now, we're just gonna weld that. It'll rip out there eventually, and then we'll have a nice, beautiful exhaust leak. That's the plan. I don't know how long it'll hold for, but right now it feels good. Now dang it, I knew I had another box of exhaust parts, and I found them. So I actually had some of those elbows I went and got already. I've got 2 sets of these. I hate to use this because it's nice. I mean, that's still just a cheapo set off of Amazon that probably costs like 13 bucks. I was hoping we could use some of these flanges, but these are just entirely too small. So we'll consume this cheapo set, even though it looks nice. The good thing about this is it should slip into the muffler. Yeah, that side. There you go, that side will go. So that is a nice tight fit where the other stuff's just entirely too small. So what I'm gonna try to do is just barely put that in there. So in the future, if we need to reuse this for nicer exhaust, we can just cut it back, you know, and still have plenty there to salvage. Well, I don't know. It may hit the rear end. I think right there's looking pretty good, Eagle Eye says. Let's give her one tack on top. And it looks good from back here. Just don't look at it from the side where you realize how much of an angle I just pulled that out of there. Tack it on top where we can pick up on that some if we can. Again, don't get your panties in a wad. This may all get swapped out eventually. Or she may get left on there for years to come. Up next, I think we're gonna go about 27 inches. I'm thinking we'll come out towards here and then we'll kick over at a 45 and kind of shoot it out this way. We figure out something we like and we may whip us one up out of some nice stainless one day. How's that? Then we can slip fit that back into there where we just reduce sizes 1,000 times. Or surely we can't get up and over, can we? With our 45s. What if we could do some crazy slip fit? Golly. Give her the O'Reilly special, up and around, down, back through. We put all that together, she's staying. She'll be permanent. Don't you dare fall into place like you want to be there. Don't do it. All right. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. If I'm being honest, I'm relieved. I don't know, we could almost make it work. Sure is a lot of bends. Well, I think we're gonna have to go up and over, guys. I kind of held that pipe straight and was kind of looking at it, and I think it's gonna look real tacky right underneath. Not that all that welded together is gonna look great, but at least it should be above where nobody can see it. So I cut our tack here. It's gonna help us taking that further back in there, and it'll probably help us if we cut this down as well. To make an easy cut line, I'm gonna just wrap us a piece of tape around here. being shortened up should help us to be able to kick up quicker, because that's one problem I'm seeing. We're still gonna have to shove that way up in there and cut it at this angle, and that's gonna be an ugly joint, I can promise you that. And then to get high enough, we can bottom this rear end into the C-notch, so we want to make sure we get above that. So that sucker's basically got to be stretched out past there. And other than that, she looks like she'll work. Now this is my first time making a YouTube video, so I forgot to record me cutting that. Right there's my original mark. I added about 3/8 of an inch and cut back where we can slip that in there some. May not be the prettiest thing, but it's working. I really should try to get one of them nice exhaust benders. We've been doing quite a bit more of it. That little bit of extra weight from this one is starting to bend that whole thing. And up here I'm tacked right there and right there. And I could see that pivoting down in there. So we need to get another tack right there to help brace that. Now I'm trying to mess with it and kind of figure out what we can do with this. Straight shot almost seems good, but it's actually letting it go too low. We can kick her out towards the side some. Yeah, I don't hate that right there. Of course, this will be squatted down better on the ground. They don't look too shabby. Let's just try it. Make sure those are snug, because that could give us some fall too. I think we'll be good. We'll probably just need to figure out one more exhaust hanger back here, kind of pick up on it, about like so. There's a hole right there, perfect size to drill and tap to a 5/16. Who remembers old Stubby Wubby, the exhaust hanger we cut off earlier, huh? It should be good. Said she's a little ugly, but hell. Now all we gotta do is decide how long we want the side pipes, and that's the slit fit. And I think that right there about looks perfect. Hold on, I forgot the one last piece. Oh, we slipped that out. Hell yeah! Damn right. Side draft, stack, mirror delete. It's gonna delete the mirror of any oncoming traffic. That's what it's gonna do. Tell you what, the old turf-all or carry-all, turf 2 carry-all makes a decent welding bench since that's all aluminum. Woo! It's hot. Got about 1,000 welds. I don't know how I'm completely blowing through that. Gee, I had to crank that down to it could barely even weld it. The original exhaust I put on the Datsun way back in the day when I was 18, that was the worst. That welded up, we'll let her cool off. As I was taking this apart, check out what I found. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? Right there. Ripped wire out of the O2. In the last second channel video, I think, or the one before, I'd said the idle had started seeming a little funky on it. That right there could have been that problem. So the worst exhaust I ever built was on my Datsun, guys. And I used a slip fit, like one of these ends. And what I actually did was I cut it at a 45. So there's a factory exhaust pipe that came down and it hung down too low for bags. So I just cut it off with a Sawzall. Well, then when I went to get it on the road, it was so stinking loud. So I got a slip fit piece that could go up there. I cut it at a 45, so right there, I took another piece of metal and cut it at a 45 and made it do a hard 90 with an angle cut. And that bottom piece I used was a piece of a bed rail off one of my old S10s, And the bed rails, you know, they got a plate that goes across the bottom that has a nut on it, so you can bolt them on from the bottom of the bed up. So I'd use that end because it was like a turn down shape. Of course, it flattens down. And there's a piece of strap across there with a nut. So then to put a baffle on it, because it's still incredibly loud, I actually shoved a little bit of steel wool up in there, and I took a piece of the old license plate that was off the Datsun, and I cut an oval shape about the same shape as it, and I bolted it to it so it hold the steel wool up in there, and I drilled a bunch of holes in that license plate where the exhaust could flow out, and then I just slipped it over the factory exhaust, and I put like 3 self-tappers in it. Yeah. It was definitely one of the jankiest things I've ever done, period, in my life. And in fact, we were driving home one night. We'd been out cruising around Pot County, and we're coming down 177. Of course, I'm running about $140 easy. And underneath the truck, you hear it get loud all of a sudden, louder, because it was still loud. But it gets like really loud, and then you hear da-dung, 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 da-dung. That thing had come off. And it was underneath the truck just bouncing everywhere. And I'm like, oh crap, what the heck's that? Well, before I can even really have time to react and get much slowed down, I hear it work its way towards the back, and then it's just silent, except I could hear it going, and I look in the mirror, or I look back, I don't know if I had mirrors, and this thing is flying, and it literally went over the roof of a car by probably 10 foot, or that thing could have easily right into a windshield or something. So luckily nobody got hurt. That kind of shook me up, and it made me think about some of the jankiness I was doing and putting on the road at the time. Of course, I was 18, cut me a little slack. Since that defining moment in my life, I have vowed to never do janky stuff again. Now, as far as this goes, I just took our side cutters, lopped that off there, bent the pin. Let's see if we can't solder this thing together. Got that pin soldered to that wire. See, and ever since I made that commitment to never do janky stuff again, I'd say overall it's been going pretty good. As far as our old O2 sensor here, I think she's got another 250,000 miles in her. All right, it all bolts right back in. And we're pushing it tight on clearance. There's about 3/16 of a gap in there. I think it's gonna be okay, because that Y bone should be traveling back up. And I doubt it comes past that, coming down, and it still has clearance. So I think she's gonna work. So she's all bolted back in now. Oh, and yeah, she looks beautiful. Ooh, here comes the moment of truth. Before we take it off the lift, let's fire her up, see what she sounds like. The muffler wasn't very quiet, so I think it's still gonna be pretty loud. I just think it's gonna do a better job of getting it back here. Yo, don't forget that. Going live. Oh yeah, she's definitely still noisy. I like how good it runs though, guys. This little truck, for being a little just 22 RE, 5-cylinder, or yeah, she's a 5-cylinder, 5-speed. This little pickup gets after it. The more we restrict it, the more we're gonna lose all that 96 horsepower. The only true way to see how we did is to take her for a little test drive. Oh, that's perfect. I mean, it's still, if you wanted something super quiet, then it'd probably be too loud for you. But that's not what I was after. It's just, there's no drone in here now, guys. That's pretty stinking good. That's what I was after. Well, I didn't make it very far, because I've got a neighbor who has this sitting out for sale. Just seen it pop up last week, so we got to finally stop and look her over. Nice little F100. Looks like we got a little bit of rot in the bedside. We also got a puppy dog over there who ain't too happy. A little bit of rot in the bed floor. She has electric fan conversion. All you gotta do is install it. Let's check her out on the inside. Oh, they keep her locked. You ain't getting in. She's got the Sony in the dash. Got the sweet seat cover. A little wood grain steering wheel. Nice little side mirror with the single screw delete kit right there. Don't go too fast, you'll fall off. Aren't those the 90 style Ford wheels? There's that twin beam suspension everybody loves. Oh, what we got up underneath here? Crawl up underneath here, have us a little look-see. What we got in here, the 300. I don't know the Fords that well, what she would have come with. I do see a new master cylinder up there. I see a new fuel pump. I see a leaky straight 6. Ooh, aluminum radiator. Newer hose. Down there on the lower side. Belt don't look terribly old. Core support mount is missing a little bit. Got a little rod in the core support as well. Now, I don't know much about these things, so I don't know what to look for or not look for. A little rod in that one too. I was kind of hoping this thing, I couldn't really see it too well from the road. Dang, how old is that brake hose that you can see the braided underneath there and the rubber's left the outside? Oh, she got the old, is this a 3 on the tray? A little bit of rot in the floor pans as well. Yeah, she's a decent truck. I just see a little more rust in it than I would care to work on. I love the color of it. That thing with some dirty torque thrust wheels and slam down. Woo, that'd be good. This is so much better, guys. The exhaust noise is just night and day difference. We still got wind noise. Y'all seen me put those universal seals on here, and I think I told you they work about 80%. They're not perfect, better than nothing. So when you get ripping like that on the highway, you get some wind noise. But as far as exhaust noise, I'm not having to yell at y'all anymore from that being holding a load and being drony. I love it. Wish I would have had a camera rolling. I know some of y'all don't like my rusty, little crusty trucks, but even just now, like a nice restored GTO silver that passed, and I looked over and the owner is just like jaw dropped, just his dentures about popped out, and he just gave me the biggest thumbs up towards this thing. There's old Slicky. Well, fancy to meet you here again, sir. I just want to come to town to test the exhaust at all speeds. It's so much better in here.
Not so drony.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Didn't have that weird spot where it's like, whoa.
Yeah. No more headaches. I can take the ibuprofen out the glove box. But check this out. Here's the best part. We're walking downhill. We're a good distance back, and you look underneath there, and all you can really see is that 2-bolt flange. You can see a little bit of the muffler, barely, but I can't even see the tailpipe or nothing. That's what I like right there. It gets the exhaust out from underneath the rig, and then you ain't got to see it. I'm not an exhaust tailpipe fan. Even right here, you really can't see it until you get down there. Guys, we're gonna call this mission complete. All right, with the exhaust a big success, let's keep this party rolling. And the one night I'd use these, of course I'm not you got the best eyeballs. I dropped that one out of there. I was trying to see how that is actually wired up, and that actually has a bulb. And I'm sure someone makes a replacement headlight for these, something way brighter than those. Let's kill the light here and do a little brightness test. Oh, it's actually not too bad. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think I was trying to use this at night and I just couldn't find the headlight switch. I mean, those things light up pretty good. Up next, we're gonna rig up our little LED and see how it does. I don't think it's gonna do this good. I know this is a 2 versus 1 fight right now, but I think it'll let us know. All right, we gotta get the angle matching. Guys, I think the regular old headlights does better. The table and area over there was lit up more with the regular headlights. These things just ain't what I was hoping they'd be, I guess. Now we know why they were on clearance. Well, guys, I thought those were gonna be brighter than what we had, so we were gonna mount them up. But turns out, really, all you need to do if you're having a hard time seeing at night is just actually turn on the headlight switch. Yeah, I remember now. In my head, of course, like I said, it was dark. I was trying to remember. I thought it had one of the toggle switches you push, so I was trying to push a switch. I never touched this one, or I would have pulled it on. Yeah, I can see the light on the table in here with the lights on. Those are definitely brighter. What do y'all think of the old golf cart here? I know they make all kinds of stuff. I'm sure there is a headlight option we could get for that thing. I was thinking about doing a little lift kit on it and some mud tires. Of course, I know it's 2-wheel drive, whatever, but just for being a little work rig around here. Just curious if y'all would like to see some of that on the second channel. Let me know. I ain't ever messed with golf carts, so it's all kind of new to me. She's a gas burner. We could put a stacked exhaust on it, okay? I need to figure out my plans on it one way or another, because it does need some, it could use some better tires. That's about the most worn out thing on this. The rear ones do go flat. I got to shoot air in them every so often. And obviously, if we're going to put a lift kit on it, we'd get bigger tires for it. So we'd want to do it in one go around. If I replace the tires like that, I promise you they'll stay like that forever, because I won't spend the money again. I'm more a one and done kind of guy. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Let old Nate Dog drive the little Toyota Stout. Let him take old Bessie for a lap. He learned to drive stick in the yall. And he drives that little BRZ now that he usually has. It's a 6-speed. But I figured for once he wanted to drive something with power. So I let him drive the little Toyota. Whew. If I seem out of breath, it's because I just sprinted here from the house. That's it, guys. Thanks for being here on the second channel. Mission complete on a better exhaust for this thing. For now, anyhow, till it falls off there. Good quality work we did. Now, it'll be all right. A little driver, guys. Nothing wrong with that. So, that's it. I'll see y'all in the next go-around. PuddensFabShop.com for that good quality merchandise. I'm on the Facebooker. I'm on the Patreon, Instagrammer, all that kind of good stuff. And much other than that, I'll see y'all in the next one. However, do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your project. And I'm actually on to my second full-time job, which is on my honeydews to do. Hot damn, there's so much BS-ery. We had to start a whole channel for all the extras. Be sure to go check out Puddin's Fab Shop if you ain't seen that baby yet. Come on!